I'll show you. Oh, you know what? I get my wrong glasses on. You know what? I'll see how it goes. I'll see how it goes with my wrong glasses on. Yep, I can still read. So if anybody, when you're tuning in, could you do me a favor and just say hey, or what state you're coming through, or, good morning and that type of thing, so that I know that I can actually read it. I may be doing a little bit of this, yeah. It's funny, but I decided, since this is a TikTok live, and it's kind of a pop-up one, because I don't always do them. I infrequently do TikTok lives on the weekends. So I don't know about you. Hey, Vire Angel in Vermont, nice to see you. I did not know we were in Vermont, so that's cool. We got Tennessee. We got, hey, that one persona, and Robin. Yay, okay, good. I can read it. So maybe I won't have to change into my computer glasses all the time. But as I was just kind of blabbing about, TikTok lives pop up, and I don't know about this, you guys. Good morning, Erin. Check me out. I've got my mug. I get tired of being in my office. Do you get tired of being in your office? I know I do. So I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. There's so much I love about what I do, more than ever in my life. However, when it's the weekend, I want to do something different. So that's why I am in the kitchen right now. So yesterday I was in the dining room, or the living room. You can see the green walls there. And then the middle room, the orange room, is what we call the tiki room. There we go. Okay, Jess from LA. And I see Jess from LA. She is here. Now, German Maid hates your office. You know what? I have tried to tone down the hate on my office because I have to spend so much time there, And want that one persona. Oh, very cool. Farm Girl says, you're on my top 5 faves TikTok lives. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, you guys. I do. I really do. Because I'm just showing up as a person on the planet who learned some stuff that helped herself and is trying to help other people with that stuff, because it's nice to know you're not alone. Portland, Oregon. Oh, so we've got a Beth, and this is a number of hours earlier for you. Yeah, hey. So I am Beth. I am here from Pennsylvania, though I don't know, probably because of my TikTok feed, I've been seeing all these ones where people are like, I'm not from Pennsylvania, I'm from, and it's like insert county here. I'm in Chester County, PA, which voted blue. I feel like I think it's important to say that. But yay. Oh, I love it. Erin says you're now my top 1 TikTok live. Oh, thank you, you guys. It does mean a lot. That one persona is saying, I love your sunny colors on this gray day in Kentucky. This is one of the reasons that I consciously wanted a cheery, bright house. I'm looking out the window right now, and it does totally look like, I don't know, big surprise. It looks like November. Yeah, it feels like November, but we've had unseasonably warm weather lately, so it's gray out. So these walls, these colors, keep me from losing my religion, as it were. German Maid says you're the only person I watch live. Oh, well, thank you. You know what? I don't watch anybody live. I am always afraid. I don't even know how it works. Like, sometimes when you're scrolling by and you're like, oh, what's that? Like, I don't want somebody to call me out right away, because I'm just like, hey, everybody. It's like walking into a room and being like, hey, what's going on here? What are you guys doing in here? And I want to be able to observe and decide if I want to stay. But anyhow, for those of you who haven't met me, who may be opening the door and saying what's going on in here, I will tell you. So, hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered, here on TikTok, on YouTube, on the interwebs, as I like to say. DestinationDecluttered.com. Did you just hear that? I heard that. That was my Boston accent coming out in my Pennsylvania kitchen. And I do TikTok lives, and I'll be here for about the next 56 minutes. I like to do about an hour's worth of tick-talking, and I'm talking while there's ticking. One of the things that I think is really fun, so the reason I show up is to help people who are struggling and kind of stuck in their clutter journey. I kind of show up like AAA with the little, what do you call it? The truck, the tow truck. I'm kind of like the tow truck. I help you get out of kind of spinning your wheels and stopping that, and then getting you back on the road and feeling better about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So that's what I do here on TikTok. Every TikTok live is a little bit different because it depends on who shows up and what's going on. And that's why these get recorded through TikTok, and then I download them, and then I upload these to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Now, the reason I do that is because I know not everybody knows when I'm doing my TikTok lives, but they're there for you as a resource. If you like what you're hearing, or you've hung out and for a little bit and said, "Gosh darn it, I wish I could stay for longer, but I got stuff to do." There are over 480 of them, and you can listen to those. It's all for free. I do paid one-on-one coaching with people, but I don't like to, feel like a commercial about that. It just rubs my Gen X person the wrong way, because I also know not everybody can afford coaching, so I show up and do a lot of free stuff too. So that being said, I feel like this is jazz. Give me a note. It's like improv, I guess. Like, where are you stuck clutter-wise? It could be a room. It could be a category of clutter. It could be feeling like you can't even start, which is always where I'm going to start anyway, so why don't I riff on that? Most people say, I don't know where to start. And the funny thing is your brain may be saying that, but it's more your body being, whoa, I don't know, I'm kind of frozen, fight or flight or freeze, red light, green light. So I just say, whatever you're doing, start with yourself. Start with your nervous system. Breathe down, calm down, stretch, move your body, shake your body down to the ground. Breathe down, drink down some water. I drank some water today and it felt better. I moved my body, I went for a walk, I sat down, I breathed down, I wrote down some stuff I want to do. That's always a wonderful place to start. Okay? Now, Anne says, I try to declutter and then get a lack of focus and end up making more of a mess. Okay, so Anne, I'm going to rewrite that sentence. Okay, I was never an English major, but I read a wicked lot. And so much of what we do in coaching and in life has to do with the words that we hear and how they make us feel. So you say, I try to declutter. No, you actually declutter. You do declutter, but then you lose your focus. And then sometimes when you lose that focus, you end up making more of a mess. Yeah, so think about this. And this is where if I was in my office, I'd be pointing to like this little cartoon car and, road trip thing behind me. Think of it like a road trip where you know where you're going. I'm heading to Target. I'm driving to Target, but then maybe, oh, that's right, I had to stop at Wawa and get a hoagie. I have to stop here and pick up the dry cleaning. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? That reminded me. I have something else I have to drop off or pick up or change or whatever. Oh, wow, there's a grocery store. Oh, there's a flash sale. Welcome to the world. Now, and the fact that I call my coaching Destination Decluttered helps me focus too. So I call my coaching Destination Decluttered because it reminds me, wait a minute, where was I heading when I started this? Where was I heading? Where was I aiming for when I started this? And yes, there will be clutter in many areas of your life. Do not get me wrong. But when you remind yourself, if you make yourself a specific destination, like for example, Laluk says, my kitchen is the dumping ground, as it is for many people. Watching this while I try to go through it. No, don't even try. There's no try here. Let's just do. You're doing it. You are decluttering. You are going through it. Eliminate the try if you're doing it. So focusing maybe on one area. And here's a game I like to play with this. It's kind of like pretend you're on Star Trek or something. Do you know how close I just came to saying Star Trek? Star Trek, like there was no I in there. Crazy. Pretend you're on Star Trek and you set your timer for 20 minutes and you say, I can't leave the kitchen. And it's because this invisible force field went down over that door and that door and that door. So I stay in the kitchen. Even if there are things in the kitchen that belong somewhere else, I collect a pile up near the door. Then once the alarm goes off, the alarm for the timer dissolves that invisible force field, and then you can go to that other room. But leaving the area that you're focusing on, if you don't watch it, can make you lose your focus as what you were aiming for. And Laluk, don't feel bad. I think everybody's kitchen is the dumping ground. I really do. So, yeah. And Robin West, I start and stop a lot. That's okay. Think about driving. Are there stoplights where you are? Are there stop signs? Yeah, but you can always go. Don't just stop and stay there. That backs up the traffic behind you. So you can stop, but then get started again. Remember it if you were driving a car. That might change it. That car metaphor, that driving metaphor, really took the what do I want to call it? Took the drama out of a lot of it. If I just said to myself, what would I do if I was in my vehicle? Now, what I'm going to do right now, though, I'm going to hold on for just a second. I'm going to yell at a fellow person in a car because, hey, boo, huh? Oh, you know what? He's got his headphones on. The tea kettle went off. Okay. C. Gavsey says, do you have suggestions on how to get my family to help declutter? Yeah. The tea thing went off. Yeah. How do I get my family to help declutter?
We all declutter in this house.
Well, I would say this: try to have fun with it. Right? I don't know.
Make it fun.
Make it fun. Yeah, make it fun. Don't be bossy. Totally not me. I get wicked bossy. What are you doing?
Offer rewards once you've decluttered your...
Yeah, there you go. Yes, offer a reward once you've decluttered. So notice that you aren't alone in the decluttering. Now, here's me being a little bit more, not diplomatic, but kind of world-esque about this, is my belief is that if you live in a combined household, it's not just you, it's somebody else, the other people have equal of responsibility to take care of their own crap as you do. It shouldn't be a matriarchy or a patriarchy, like where one person gets stuck doing all the crap and everybody else just to get to benefit from it. But I will say this, changing your mindset about what it means to have people help versus participate. I try to catch myself when I use that word, help, because it infers that you are helping me with something of mine. Whereas yesterday, like my husband and I, we were down the basement, and I was helping him by basically sitting on the stairs and making it very difficult for him to leave the room. And he knows it. But he was going through his own studio equipment. He was going through stuff, and that, it was him dealing with the stuff that he knows what to do with. I don't know what to do with that stuff. It was up to me. It would, I'd probably sell it all on eBay. But I joke about this, but it's true. It's like everybody should know how to take care of their own stuff. So the one thing you can do is get to know how to do it yourself so you can show up doing it in a way that gets people doing that. Okay? So there we go. Oh, I love it. All right, let me back it up. So I saw some things because I was chatting here. All right, Jill Rio says, love my colors in my home. Thank you very much. Yep. Realizing I've got comfortable with clutter. Even though I desperately want everything decluttered, my nervous system is activated when I'm close to my goal. Okay, notice that. I love that you're noticing that your nervous system is activated. Just get curious what it is. What are the stories? Because your nervous system is activated by words. It's verbally activated. So what are the words that go through your head? Like, oh my God, we're almost there. What if I don't like it? What if it doesn't feel good? What if it feels empty? Whatever it is, just notice when you start feeling that feeling and what's going on. All right? Now, I love it. Linda is reorganizing the dishes as you speak. Yeah. Okay, I love it. You answered it. Maybe because I'm afraid I won't be able to keep it up. Now, let me very clear. And hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Let me ask you this. Ask you this. I don't even know what that means. I want to help you with this. Decluttering is a process. Yes. Maintaining a decluttered home is a similar yet different process. One of them has to do with kind of reflecting back and making decisions, and the other one has to do with decision making, but also habit making. So getting in the habit of being decluttered instead of just thinking one and done but never changing your mindset, never changing your habits of decluttering. Now, there will be certain parts of your home that do gather clutter more easily. Erin, I gotta give you a high five. I was thinking about what you said yesterday on the TikTok Live about having a space in your home that is decluttered and remains that way, probably because it's not in, circulation. So I love the fact that you said that when you worked on your basement, you don't go down there often, but when you do, it reminds you that you can do this, and it feels like a sense of accomplishment. There are rooms in your house that are always going to be a certain amount of clutter just by the clutter of everyday living. I mean, right now, I'm doing a TikTok Live about clutter, but I see stuff on my counters. I see the door to the washing machine open. I know there's like crap all over, not all over the place, but there's the evidence of everyday living. Don't worry about that. The clutter I like to help you with is that stuff, and is the stuff that's been piling up. Okay? But notice, yeah, our brains can put blinders on so that we don't see things and get overwhelmed and freaked out. You know? So, yes, he is adorable. Thank you. Yes. Oh, Lori Hannah, nice to see you again, too. She's saying, I'll read it. Beth is a great coach. I learned how to keep from thinking all or nothing. And yes, chunk it down. You know, chunking it down. Yes, a visual reminder how good it feels keeps me motivated. Awesome. Now, the wonderful thing today, you guys, you could do this. So when I'm talking about clutter right now, why don't you bring me into a room that has some clutter in it? Typically, it's going to be what I call the surface clutter. So that kind of clutter of everyday life that's just on a surface. You can listen to me and declutter surfaces at the same time. You can get something done. I do not take it disrespectfully if you can multitask in this thing. At a certain point, you will have to probably tune me out to listen to yourself. But if you have laundry, if you have dishes, if you have surfaces that need to be tidied up, why not listen to me and do that? Because then by noontime Eastern, where I am, you will be even ahead of the game. Okay? I hope that helps. Yep. There we go. All right. Yeah, liking the change in scenery. Yeah, I like the change of scenery too. Monday through Friday, I'm typically at my desk a lot because I do coaching, my one-on-one clients, as you know. I also do consultations. That's where I do it as well. And I do a lot of work at my desk. But on the weekends, it's the weekend, even for us working people. So I'm sitting here at my kitchen table, and it makes it more fun for me and hopefully made it too. All right. So High Life 238 says, need to clean closets. House on the market for sale. Need help. Okay. I love it. Closets, friends, are not surface clutter. They are stored clutter. That is because if you shut a door on a closet, you don't see it, but you know the clutter's there. If you live there, you know it's there. So one of the easiest things to do, one of the easiest ways to get started in any kind of stored clutter, as I like to say, and write the book for yourself, write this down. Stored clutter equals stuff behind doors and drawers, or behind doors and in drawers. Now, if I said that right, at least it rhymes in my head, so maybe it'll make it easier for you to remember. The best thing to do is to start with categorizing. Now, depending upon the quantity of stuff, now you say, oh, well, my closet's all filled with clothes. Yeah, clothes is a category. Clothes are a category. Clothes is a category and are a category. Clothing. However, the sub category of clothing would be, here are my long sleeve shirts. Here are my short sleeve shirts. Here are my skirts. Here are my dresses. Here are my sweaters. Notice that under a general category, there's more specific categories. So, High Life, do this. Chunk it down. As Lori Hannah just said, I'm a big advocate of this. Don't say all the closets in my entire house. Oh my God. No, silly. Pick one closet. Pick a closet. Here, it's like I'm playing a card game. Pick a card, any card. Pick a closet, any closet. Oh, look, I got, front hall closet. Then look in there and pull out a category. Now, my front hall closet is going to have, and I did this the other day, is going to have coats that we don't often wear, but we wear sometimes. And just pull out that one category and ask yourself, when's the last time, do I like this? Do I still want it? And if the answer's iffy, say, when's the last time I wore it? When do I see myself wearing it? Does it belong here? Could I put it away? Ask yourself some questions about this. But chunking it down and categorizing is a good way to get started on this. Okay? And you notice how I said pick a card, any card. That could be a deck of 52 cards, and it could be different sections of your house. Now, that's a great idea, and if I wanted to make money from that product, I could create it. But all I know, too, is that you could say, oh, look, I bought this, deck of cards for $20, and then it just adds to your clutter. I love you so much that I'm not going to clutter up your house with destination decluttered stuff, because I know what it's like to feel like you did something, but if you don't use it, it's not going to work. So pick a chunk of your house today, right now, and start with a category, and just see what you have. Coffee mugs are a big one. How many coffee mugs do you have? Do you have room, when all of your coffee mugs are clean, do you have room to easily put them away, easily access them, and do you enjoy using all of them? That's one category. You could pull them out right now and go through that as we're sitting here, you know? Now, Moi says, yes, I used to help my friend and her husband and son clean and declutter their house. They never maintain. I refuse to help because they don't upkeep it. It's so annoying. I have done that before for people too. The wonderful thing is that people don't learn how to maintain a home like that. You know? Like, I try to do it. I didn't learn how to do this growing up. I didn't know this growing up. So I had to learn it, and that's why I teach you. You know? So, it can be taught. Some people don't know how to do it, especially when, and I say this, I know you were doing it as a good thing, but if you do something for somebody, they don't know how to go through the process. That is why I was really mindful and demure about how I wanted to help people, because if I've done it for them, yeah, it just gets undone, and it gets frustrating for both people. So I teach you how to do it. Okay? There we go. There we go. Cher is going to, like the room scan, gather the junk mail, shred or throw out, recycle. Love it. I'm in the kitchen, 1138's kitchen. Cher says, make the bed too. Laura says, sorting through stuff while I listen. Awesome. Erin says, I'm pulling out Christmas decor from another basement room today. If I don't use it this year, it goes. I hear you. We actually we had 2 Christmas trees downstairs. One of them we used when we first moved here, and the other one we just started using in the past maybe 10 years or so, and we hadn't been using it. And I said, you know what? I wrote a note to myself last year to get that into a place where I could donate it while somebody could still use it. So wonderful. You know? Yeah. No, Carla Jane, good morning. She says, when you start and see what you can do, you will want to continue. Yeah. Yep. All right. This life's pulled me in. I will be back. There we go. I'm here for you. Beth, Destination Decluttered. Here on TikTok. I've got recordings on YouTube. I show up on Facebook and Instagram, but just kind of halvesies, kind of half-assing it there, I'll be honest. And then my website is where you can sign up for my mailing list so you know when I'm going to show up for a TikTok live. Yeah. Yeah. And while I see you saying my friend literally doesn't care, she's super lazy in every aspect of her life, it bothers me. Yeah, you know what? We can't change other people. We can't. But we can change how we interact with them. You know, if they're really like that, you realize you cannot save everybody. You can't even save them from themselves, you know. Now, Goldmine 3 says, I need an organizer to come to me so I can get this done. There are people out there who do that. Yeah, I would suggest NAPO, National Association of Professional Organizers. Somebody can help you do that. You'll pay them, and they'll do it for you. Hopefully, they'll do it with you. And then you'll learn how to maintain it once they're gone. You know? Okay, so Teacher Meister says, I think it will be great to listen, and I do. I always get sidetracked. Interesting. Yeah, notice the sidetracked. Yeah. All right, that's what I do. I get overwhelmed, get discouraged, freak out, and stop. Okay. Let's start with the overwhelm. Overwhelm is a feeling. Don't get overwhelmed. The best way to not get overwhelmed is to just chunk it down. Is to quiet down, is to calm down, is to look down, is to slow down, is to quiet down the voice. Slow down how you're speaking. Breathing down. Don't overwhelm yourself. And then when you look up, instead of looking at everything, look at something. Look at what you can see. Now, I have my glasses on, so I have a very narrow window of stuff that's in focus. I can see what's around me in this amount and say, what can I do with the clutter that's just within arm's reach? Okay? You can do something. Teacher Meister, I'm thinking if you say teacher, you might be a teacher. Think of how you would teach your kiddos in school, you know? Think of how you would do that. And treat yourself like somebody who's just learning how to do stuff. Now, SS07058 says how to purge kids stuff. I say purge kids stuff with their participation and knowledge. Do not hide it from them, because I know a lot of people are mad that their mom threw away their toys when they were little. Okay? What I offer is decluttering is a life skill. Decluttering is a life skill, and it is a skill that you are never too young or old to learn how to do. Now, Sandra is saying, tough parting with some stuff. I'm 70, doing some decluttering to downsize. Kids to 70 years old. It is a process we need to learn in order to live in the society we live in, which always says, bring more things into your house. More, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, more, more. Okay. So notice that. Okay. Now, boop. Just goes so you guys know, and when I'm quiet like that and bopping along here, I'm decluttering some of these trollersons here. So there we go. Now, what do we got going on here? There we go. Yeah, see, I knew you could do it, teacher. Yeah, if you look, Teacher Meister. Yeah, Teacher Meister. You will notice that the most recent recorded video I did on TikTok tells you all about this. I call it all the downs because it just reminds me to use the word down over and over again. So it's calming down, quieting down, chunking down, slowing down, writing down, so many downs, okay? Helping your nervous system feel less overwhelmed, and then chunking it down means taking a chunk and saying, I can't do all of the kitchen right now, but I can start on that counter, and after that counter's done, maybe I'll go to this counter, and after that counter, there's the stove, and then there's this counter, then there's the sink, and there's that. And you can do it in the way you want, you know? So, there we go. I hope that helps. Yep. And you guys, just so you know, I'm doing my best to declutter the comments. It has only happened post-election, which is very interesting. Now, notice this. German Maid says, I did one drawer a day, then a closet, then a cabinet. After I decluttered, I went back and organized. Yeah, because decluttering and organizing are kind of buddies. They hang out, but they have two different roles in your life. Decluttering is decision-making. Decluttering is deciding, what is this thing and do I want it or not? And that takes thought and that can take time. I knew yesterday, honestly, when I was down in the basement with my husband, asking him to clean up his own stuff, I realized before, I used to be like, what is this? What do you want? Well, what about that? Well, what about that? I was very quiet yesterday, allowing him to think of those things so that he could decide, what is that? Do I want it or not? And he came up, surprisingly to me, with a sizable pile of things that we're going to donate somewhere. You know? So just notice those things you can do. You're going to need to ask yourself some questions, but don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to listen for the answers. You know? So, yeah, this is where we go. There we go. I love it. I love it. There we go. Yeah, I got to figure out how to assign somebody as a moderator. I don't know if you guys can do that yourselves or whatever, but if anybody knows how you can report things or spammy people, go for it. You know, we all need help. Yeah. Our Teacher Meister says you're a good teacher yourself. Life skill. Yeah, it is a life skill. It really is. Deciding what you want in life. And your life is in your house, and your house is part of your life. Do I want that thing? The answer can be yes, no, maybe so. And if it's maybe so, then you spend a little bit more time with the maybes. Now, noticing the colors that I use right now, they won't work as effectively, but I will offer to you that I like to think of things sometimes as having a traffic light in my body. Green light is always where your heart is. Green light is always yay, yes, go, love, fun. Of course I want to keep that. You know, of course I want to keep this linen, tea towel that I use as a napkin. Of course I want to keep this one because then there's one for me and there's one for my husband. That's a no-brainer. The no-brainer things mean you don't have to think about it because you know you want those things. On the flip side, on the bottom, kind of from the waist below, is you saying, nope, I totally don't want that. Again, another no-brainer. No, that receipt goes in the recycling. No, that is garbage that goes in the disposal. That goes into the trash. That goes into a recycle bin. The things that are no-brainers that you don't even have to think about, those are the easy ones. If you even just deal with those two things, the quantity of things you're going to have in your house are so substantially less, and then what you're going to notice is the stuff that you have left is the yellow light. The yellow light. Now think about what you do when you're driving. When you get to a yellow light, you have to make a decision. There's some tension right there. Should I stay or should I go now? You know, should I go forward? Should I speed up and try to get through it? Or should I slow down? And that tension keeps you in limbo before you make a decision of what you're going to do. So just notice that. That's another kind of category. The green light stuff, the red light stuff. And then you're going to notice the yellow light stuff. Okay? So, oh, funny. ADHD has me intrigued by those bottles on your shelves. Okay, I'll tell you. Here, you guys look. See those bottles right there? Aren't they fun? Now, you guys will notice, those of you who are attention to detail-oriented people, of which I am, is in previous TikTok lives when I've done them from my kitchen. There hasn't been some in a while. But those guys were not there, those little robot bottles. Here's a clutter story and a decluttering story. Those bottles were owned by a dear friend of mine. This dear friend of mine passed away 6-8 months ago. Yeah, and her husband is kind of going through her stuff because he needs to rent out the house to make some money. So I said to him, I can help you with your decluttering. Now, did I say, am I going to put this all in my house? No. But I realized that I had some things on that shelf previously that were they were glasses that I had kind of thrifted and picked up along the way. It was fun for a while, but then they just kind of sat there. They were kind of like, meh, I don't really like them. Now, I almost thought of helping him either sell these or give them away. And then I said, you know what? Those things have a story to me. Those bottles remind me of my friend. They remind me of helping out my friend's husband. They remind me of so many things where these other glasses are kind of meh. So if I had a scale, if I had a choice between which ones I kept and which ones I let go of, I would totally be much easier to get rid of the glasses that I had up there. And I replaced them there. But this was an intentional thing. I didn't just add them to my collection. I said, where could they go, where they might fit, and what can I get rid of to kind of do a swap? So that's where those came. Notice how thoughtful, how full of thought I was to put those up there. It wasn't like, I don't know, I just threw them up there. But my house, our house, reflects the thought. There is thought behind every single thing in this house. Maybe too much thought, but I love looking around and knowing that each one of those things is there for a reason. So notice how you can do that for yourself. You know? Get some thoughts. Yeah. And yeah, it sucks. Thank you. Yeah, and you know what? Thank you for your Kershak says thank you for your loss. Yeah, I am too. But you know what? We're all going through loss, you know? Maria Vega, nice to see you. And I'm just going to scroll back. There we go. Okay. You have to make them a mod. I'd be happy to help if you ever need one. Okay. I will see what I can do there. I will learn how to do that. Here's the funny thing. I've never had to do that in a year and a half since I've been doing TikTok lives, but well, things change. Okay. Thank you for liking the colors. You can mute people's comments and go far as to ban them from your lives if necessary. Yeah, I've been blocking some people, but I'm going to learn it. It's a skill because this is my space. This is our space. This is outer space, you know? Yes, I hope it helps. Okay. Yes, so somebody mentioned us asking me to repeat the kind of concept, as I said, that I worked with, like the traffic signal in you. So green is yes, red is no. Yes, I want it. No, I don't. Pretty clean, pretty easy, no brainers. Yellow is tension. Yellow is... Basically, you guys, I truly think yellow is stuff that you know you don't want, but you're afraid to get rid of. There's tension because part of you wants to let go of it and part of you wants to keep it. So there's tension. You know how you have something and there's tension because one side is pulling this way and one side's pulling that way? I don't want to ruin that, so I won't pull too hard. But you know what I mean? There's tension. When one side says, yes, I want to keep it, there we go. When the other side says, I want to let go, you know what? But when you're back this way, you know? So notice those things. Thank you. I see your thing. And choosing a mod, choose one or two people who join every or most lives. I will do that. Choose a moderator. I love it. There we go. So this is interesting. Kershak says stuff because, you know, I missed some of it. Yeah, my hoarding is all the result of a death. Yeah. Because we think if we keep the stuff that we have the people still in our lives. I'm not going to lie. These things tell me a story of my friend. That reminds me every time I walk in the kitchen, I see them, I think of her. It makes me feel good. The kitchen, the glasses when they're up there reminded me of, yeah, I went thrifting and I thrifted some glasses over a certain amount of time. That is not a story I need to keep. But reminding myself of my friend, I want to always remember my friend, even when she's not here on the planet. You know? Kershak says, I live in a mess right now and I want to get cozy minimalist, but I keep on replacing stuff because I don't like it so empty, but I don't like it stuffed either. Okay, Kershak, notice how your body and your nervous system feels in certain environments. This is one of the reasons why I like the fact that decluttering takes time, because you don't want to shock your system to go from all or nothing. You want to do this gradually so you get to learn. Here's another thing. Like I say, it's so funny. I say don't look at the screen, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, you should look at the screen while I do this. You know? So before I was talking about having the traffic signal in your body, green, yellow, red. But also think about this in that kind of three things right here. Having nothing is like being hungry, an empty stomach. Okay? But then when you start to accumulate things, you build up and you start to get full. Your house starts to get full. Oh, this doesn't feel so empty. It's starting to feel full. One of the things we don't realize that we've bypassed until we realize that we have too much is that just right feeling, that satiated, no, this is good, I'm going to stop. Many of us don't have that internal like shut-off valve. So we think, oh, let's continue. And we live in a society that encourages overconsumption. Over-consuming items. So sometimes you don't realize how much you have until you feel like you're drowning, that you can't breathe, that you're stressed out. And that's because you're kind of in above your head. You have too much stuff. But if you don't know what this just right feeling is, the journey towards decluttering, you may think, oh shit, this means I'm going to have nothing again, and I don't want nothing. This is why you do it gradually. And you say, okay, how does this feel? Oh, this feels better. I like this. Okay, how about another go round? Okay, I like this. Ooh, this is starting to feel good. You're going to get to a level where it feels good. So take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Get used to the level of stuff that feels good to you. Now, I consider myself decluttered because I have made a thoughtful decision about the stuff we have in our house. To other people, I may look maximalist. To other people, I may look minimalist. It's all depends on you. Okay? So don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anybody else. Just noticed. You know? Yeah, what internal shutoff valve? Exactly. Yeah, I don't have it. You know, I will eat too much. I will drink too much. I will crash too much. But you know what? You know when it starts to feel better. You know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do to make yourself feel better. And then it's up to us to do it. Now, these last few days, I will confide in you. I have been eating crappily. I have been not getting enough moving around of my body. And yet every day, but I've been getting better every day. I had bran cereal with blueberries and almond milk for breakfast. I didn't go right to that Reese's peanut butter cup, which I may have for lunch. But you deserve to feel okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So yeah, if this is definitely too much is hit, I get some kind of agitated, yes. But you know what? Just notice it before you get there. You know, notice it. Yeah, and notice Kershak, I love this because you're noticing that the process you have isn't giving you what you want. Yeah, you're going from all to nothing. This is too much. I get agitated. I throw away a bunch of stuff. And then you say, yikes, it's too empty. Because you didn't go on that journey, that road trip with your nervous system. You did not allow yourself to get comfortable with 10% less, and then another 10% less, and then another 10% less, and recover, and another 10%, and recover, and another 10%. You did not expand your nervous system capacity to be comfortable with fewer items. So you can do it a different way. What you're doing, this is me. This reminds me of like being back in the corporate world, which I was unhappily in for a while, but I made money. You've created a little machine. You start here, and what you're hoping is going to pop out is the home you want. Right now, the way your machine is configured, at the end, you're not getting the end result you want because it's not just about how it looks. Write this down. This would be something if I was writing a book, I would put this down here. It's not about just how it looks. No. We know that because we have x-ray vision and we can look and know what's in that drawer and know that if that drawer is neat and organized or if it's a hot mess. It's not just about how it looks. It's about how it functions because you want it to be easy to live in your house. And it's most importantly, you guys, it's about how you feel in your home. It's about how you feel. Look, function, and feel. Those are the things I talk about when I have a one-on-one client setting up for me. What are we headed for? Not just how it looks, but how the way it looks impacts the functionality and impacts how it feels. Okay? Yeah. There we go. I feel seen here in your videos. Here I am, over here. Here, I do TikTok lives about once a day, except when I don't. Like today I'm doing the weekends because I felt like doing the weekends, but usually it's Monday through Friday. If you want to know when I'm doing my TikTok lives, I have a free email mailing list. That's also in case something like TikTok goes down, I can still keep in touch with the people who are on my mailing list. The people on my mailing list, you guys, you have the access to the schedule of when I do my TikTok lives. Now I'm East Coast and I'm an early bird, so they do tend to be anywhere between 7 a.m. and like 3 p.m. Eastern. But it varies from day to day and week to week. I like to keep it flexible. I get bored with mundane routine. I like some structure. So my structure is that I'll do a TikTok live Monday through Friday, but my flexibility is that I'll do it at a different time of day, and it's a time of day that I decide. Okay? Yeah. So, I'm here to help with this, Yeah, so notice how your living situation, you feel like clutter bulimia. Yeah. Because you're hurling all of it out. You're not leaving anything to nourish yourself because you're eating for the wrong reasons. You're eating to stuff down a feeling, Yep. Now, there we go. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad people are feeling good. Because that's why I'm here. Doing things every day to make yourself feel good. And one of the things, I'll be honest with you guys too. I'm honest with you all the time, but I just feel like when I'm stepping outside of talking about clutter, one of the things that helps me feel better is connecting with other people and knowing I'm not alone. And especially in this past week, it has been very comforting to me and giving me solace and making me feel better when I can reach out to my friends, to part of my family, to friends from all over, and know that I feel safe with them. Now, human nervous system safety is the number one thing we're going for. Because if you feel scared and unsafe, you're going to be in that fight or flight mode. That is a very energy consuming way to be in your life. But when you can relax and know that everything's going to be okay, then you can do some really cool stuff. So, JJ's asking, how do we get on the mailing list? Sorry, I totally forgot to. This is live. What can I say? My website is called destinationdecluttered.com. All one word. destinationdecluttered.com. On there, it's wicked easy. There's a join button, and you just put your email address in there, and then you're on the email list. Okay? So that's how you get on the mailing list. The cool thing is I will share with you guys. Remember I said I typically don't do TikTok lives on the weekend? But I'm the one who makes the rules, so I get to change them anytime I want. So like, for example, today is a Sunday. I'm doing it. Next Saturday, I will not be doing a TikTok live because we're going away overnight. I do a lot of traveling. That's one of the reasons, one of the ways I keep things flexible with me. However, next Sunday, I do this once a month. Once a month for about the past year and a half, I've done like a free Zoom call. It's a little bit like group coaching. It's just, it's a nice little thing just for the people on my mailing list. Well, last month, we did a thing called a decluttering party where we all knew what was happening. We all said, okay, Sunday at whatever time, we're all going to sign into Zoom. I'm going to declutter this space. You're going to declutter a place in your house that you've been dragging your feet on, but we're going to do it together. So next Sunday, that's happening just for the people on the mailing list. If that sounds interesting to you, sign up for the mailing list. Okay? Now, user 6242 says, what should I do with the yellow stuff? Should I throw it out? It depends. The yellow stuff is now a category itself. And each decision you make on one of those yellow things is going to be individual to what it is. Like right now here on my kitchen table, I have a little dish that I put my napkins in. I've got my napkins. I've got a candle. I've got this giant salt shaker because I love salt. I've got an empty salt shaker. I've got a book. I've got a few things. My decision-making questions are the same. What is this thing? It's a salt shaker. Do I want it or not? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, what's the easiest way I can get it out of my life? Now, this is a perfect example. This is not just any salt shaker. See, you're going to notice your stuff has stories. I have salt shakers over there that I got at like some kitchen outlet down the beach when we were there a couple of weeks ago because we needed a functional one. This is a single salt shaker. I like salt and pepper in pairs. I'm kind of like Noah's Ark that way. But this was owned by my great aunt. My great aunt, who is also my godmother. I found it recently in my mother's house, and it reminds me of my aunt Agnes. Now, I currently only use salt that's a bit more crunchy, right? I like the crunchy salt. This is really for the stuff, the Mortons and things like that. And we have a number of salt shakers in our house. So, because I'm a Lennon, what can I say? I like salt. So I am trying to figure out myself, do I keep this? Do I try to find a pair to it? If anybody ever sees a salt shaker set like this, let me know. Reach out to me. But notice how this is taking me a long time to even describe what the deal is with this salt shaker. If you came into my house, you'd be like, why do you have an empty salt shaker on your kitchen table? And kind of like they would say back in Facebook days, it's complicated, but there are thoughts and feelings associated with this salt shaker. Now, I'm okay with that because I know a lot of other stuff doesn't have it, and I'm okay with having it around here until I decide what feels right to me. I offer you that same process, Yeah, I could put another spice in it, scrap lover, but I'd have to find something that fit through those holes, right? And frankly, my husband does the spice. You know how they had the Spice Girls? He's like the spice guy. Spice up your life, right? I use salt. I'm happy with just salt, practically. Yes, take a picture and Google it. Thank you, Soul Wanderer. I have taken a picture, and the ones that have come up have not quite right. That doesn't mean I'm giving up my search, but also this doesn't take up a lot of time. So I will put this on my yellow table down the basement, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to see what I can live with it, But thank you for your help. See, this is what we're doing, So let me back it up. All right. Join the mailing list? Okay. Hey, 80s Girl Forever. Last week, on top of everything, I had 4 doctor's appointments, chemo tomorrow. You have great tips. You know what? My heart is going out to you. I am sending you good vibes like you wouldn't believe, 80s Girl Forever. I was an 80s girl myself, And so, yeah, you have people around that you don't even know that support you. Sad thing is you also have people around you that you thought supported you that may not. That's the tension we're going through, right? And I do love that that one persona filmed in front of a live virtual audience. Yeah. And decluttering really is, at the end of the day, this is why I got my certification in life coaching. Because I knew it was so much more than just the stuff on the surface. It's what's going on underneath. It's the stuff that you actively making a decision of what's important to me and what's not important to me. And Erin, thank you for giving 80s Girls some grace because I saw that, so I can send, as I like to say, send some nubbins to them too. Yeah. Aw. Sister-in-law starts chemo tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? We're all going through something. Team Gen X, you got it. You got it. So this is why I show up. Because I hope that when I show up, I create an opportunity for connection. They talk about like a hub and spoke. Like I show up and that you guys may not know how to connect to each other, but because I show up, we all come to this one place for a certain amount of time and we can hang out together and we can be struggling with something, but at the same time, help somebody else while you're struggling. And then somebody else who is struggling with something slightly different may be able to help you. We are all in this together. We are all in this together, and you're going to meet people. You're meeting yourselves. I tend to see people's names coming up often for my TikTok live. So I get to know them even though I've never met them in person. Other people I know a little bit better because we work one-on-one coaching. Just saw Carla Jane, Lori Hanna, Erin and I, we've all done one-on-one coaching, so we know each other a little bit better, you know? And this is just a really cool thing that we can connect, you know? So I show up to talk about clutter, but I also know that that's really just the tip of the iceberg for so many other things. Yeah. And I love it. Maria says, we appreciate you. Thank you. You're welcome. Because I just get up going through items with a few things too. Yeah. And see, this is great. Carla Jean's right here. And Anastasia says, I can notice the echo, and Carla is loving how her house is sounding. How her house is sounding. Notice that your senses, how does your house look? Yeah. How does it smell? How does it sound? How does it taste? Like peanut butter. How does it, how do you feel? How do you feel in your home? Yeah. Yeah. Am I something underneath this fear? Dealing with that means I'm making progress. Yes. And Lori Hanna, you have helped out so many people by just saying that thing. That the thing, honestly, I just will always go back to the root of it all to me, which is fear. Fear keeps us hanging on to things, and only when you realize that you can have a decision to let it go is you realize that fear is behind so many things, I love it. Beth, I watch your lives all the time. I really need to change my username. Yeah, maybe you'll declutter your username, and then you'll have to tell me. A lot of times they do come up as user Gen X moment. They'll come up as user 8675309. Yes. And yes, and choose a username and a photo you love, Anne has so much fear. Okay, cool. Let's declutter it. What are you afraid of? Now, this is the funny thing. I know the fear is behind it because when I ask somebody, why can't you get rid of that? And I say get rid of as a catch-all phrase. Why can't you let go of that? They say, well, I'm afraid that. So answer that question yourself. If you're not letting go of something, what are you afraid is going to happen if you let go of it? Now, for sentimental items, sometimes that can mean I might forget my great aunt. I'm not going to forget my great aunt. First of all, I have other stuff of hers. Secondly, she lives in my heart. She does not live in the salt shaker, but it's a connection. And speaking of connections, hey, Boo Boo, can you text my sister? Tell her I'm doing a TikTok live. I'll be off in 8 minutes. Thank you. All right. Yeah, compound grief. Yeah. Grief, fear of death. I mean, here I am. It's a Sunday, but fear of death. Shit, I'm going to die. Did I have the life I wanted to live? I try to help you start that before you stop, before you, so you live a good life. Help you start that before you stop, before you, so you live a good life. Can you text her, please? Thank you. If it's an emergency, I will sign off, but I get 7 minutes. Notice, you can get distracted, but I'm going to refocus, and I'm going to trust that there's no crisis. And if it is, I'll get off in a hot minute, okay? Yeah, my mom says you don't need stuff to remember someone you love. It's true, because those people live in here. And just think, you could have, even if you had one item, you could have one item that was a visual reminder of somebody you loved. But how many visual reminders do you need to ensure that you won't forget them? I mean, think about it. Wedding rings, this reminds me that I'm married to that guy in the other room. Yeah. Yeah. And Lori says, I'm afraid of not following through with things I started. Okay, I love that. So let's work on the things that you started and let's help you follow through with them, Or the things I spent money on. Now, money is a big one. I'm afraid I am losing money because I'm letting go of something I spent money on. But in the meantime, you're holding on to something that's making you feel bad. Get used to the fact that you've made some poor investments in your life. Get used to the fact that you have spent money on things that didn't work out. Today, I may spend money on things that didn't work out. And for sure, for the rest of our lives, we will spend money on things that do not work out the way we hoped. It is part of the human experience, you know? Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes when you see something that makes you remember happy moments, completely. Souvenirs, my friends, souvenirs. My house is filled with them. But it's not to a point where it functions poorly. It makes me feel bad. I walk in and I'm surrounded by evidence of love. Of love for my friends that are no longer here. Of love that I had and gave to my great aunt. Of love that I've had for my husband, or that stories of where did we get this artwork. And I remember the story of going to New York City with my friend and getting this poster. And I remember, this is silly, but like I have a little candle right here. The story behind it is, I think we stopped at a taco place in Wilmington, Delaware, and I bought it. But I want a peaceful home, so I light it occasionally. And Debbie says, so precise, 8 minutes. It's because I'm looking at the digital clock. But notice what you could do in 8 minutes. 8, 7, 6, 5. It's about you and your space. Yeah, you and your space. And Carla Jane, I love that you said that, because it is so true. That most of the time we are afraid to do what we want for fear of somebody else. No, I love this. Linda Mosegier says, just a side note, organizing dishes and it looks like Mikasa in here. You know what's wicked funny about that, Linda? I used to work for Mikasa. I was a professional dish organizer. So I probably know, you probably have, what was that one? I can't even remember the names of some of the patterns, but if you did Studio Nova, and there was that harvesty one, and there's some really cool early 70s and late 60s prints that I totally dig. Yeah, and Teacher Meister, yes, notice I lost my mom. We are all, if we haven't already, we're all going to lose our moms. I bet you my sister is calling me about my mother, because we are taking care of her now, And so, I lost my mom. So I look already and say, what do I want, if anything, of her stuff to remind me of her? Very little, because she will always live in my heart. So this right here, you notice how many times I'm like, how many times my hand goes to my heart, because it's not just about how it looks. It's about how your home looks and how that makes you feel. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about how my house looks, but it always hasn't been that way. Okay, Tulips Mikasa from Robinson's May 30 years ago wedding registry. See, there's a story behind those. There's a story behind them. Yeah, Just Me says, my mom's been gone 26 years. Not a day goes by that I don't think of her. Now, my dad's been gone for 14 years, and even before that, he was sick for quite a while. So the dad that I knew was not the one who actually ended up dying 14 years ago. But I know, I think of my dad when I see something, when I hear a song, when I smell a smell, when I eat a food, when I get, you know what I mean? There are ways that I am reminded of him that have nothing to do with me holding on to items of his, So you can remember the people without having to keep their stuff. Okay? Yeah. The dishes last forever. There we go. Yeah. And Skylar, nobody is everybody. Everybody who's dealing with sentimental items. Okay? We have surface clutter. We have stored clutter. We have sentimental. There is absolutely nothing wrong with keeping sentimental items. Nobody, including especially myself, is saying get rid of them. But when you are weighed down by them, just ask yourself, how many things do I need to remind me of that person? User 8274 says, my dad had been gone 35 years. I kept a few of his favorite sweatshirts. Yeah, I kept some of those things. I have a shirt that I used to use down the basement when cleaning that has a little dog on it that reminds me of my dad. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff. Oh, there we go. Erin. Oh my God, Arabella. My Mikasa pattern was Arabella. I sold the whole things a few years ago. Yeah, I never use them. They just take up space. So notice all these interesting things that are happening, you guys. Just notice this stuff. Just notice would be probably, if I were to ever make another mug, just notice. Just notice what you do and get curious about why you do it. Okay? Do not judge yourself. Do not judge yourself. Get curious. Okay? Now, speaking of curiosity, I am curious about what my sister was getting in touch with me about. I hope it's nothing big. I hope it's something mundane and silly. But I'm going to sign off now because I'm going to get in touch with her And I look forward to seeing you all again the next time I do a TikTok Live. I don't know off the top of my head when that is, but I don't have to worry about the top of my head because I know where to look for that schedule. You will know where to look for that schedule too if you sign up for my mailing list, okay? And I will say this, this will probably be the last time I do a TikTok Live without my computer glasses on because it's kind of scrolly all over the place. But thank you. Yeah, I'm sure everything will be fine. I choose to think everything's going to be fine. And you guys, go do something good for yourself today. Look around your house, and if it's not making you feel like you want to, just please know you can do something about it, okay? I'll see you the next time I see you.